Okay, we're live, I think.
All right, awesome.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the Rideshare Hub. My name is Dylan, and today we have a very special guest, and you guys have probably seen her before, but today we have Alexis Goulis.
Hi. Hello. You guys probably seen me.
Hello, world. Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the chat to make sure it's actually working, but I think it is.
Do you know if I will be able to see it? Oh, wait, I think right here.
It's fine. I have it on my phone. Okay. All right, so yeah, so today I'm with Alexis Goulis. She is a YouTuber, influencer, I guess, entrepreneur, life coach. She's an author as well. She wrote a book, and she also has a bunch of popular videos on rideshare and food delivery, as well as like just how to make money online, which is actually how I found her. So we have the privilege of talking with her today, and this is going to be a live Q&A. So guys, put your comments down below and we'll get through them as well. So just to start this off, I just want to say, Alexis, thank you for joining.
Of course, I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited for both of us, just so everyone knows. This is our first time doing a, what is it even called? A Google Hangout live stream. So
yeah, sorry if it's like buffering or whatever.
No.
But yeah, so okay, so yeah, just for this video, I want to focus on rideshare for the sake of this channel. But I also want to ask you, like, because I am super impressed, just like your whole, I want to talk to you about like your whole journey and how you like stumbled upon, like, I know you sell on eBay and like you set up your shop and like you just found all these different ways to make money. And like you built yourself this audience that's growing on YouTube and on Instagram and stuff. And yeah, I have a bunch of questions, and I really like the way you set everything up with like how you strive for happiness and everything throughout it, and becoming like financially independent. So and I don't know everything, obviously. So
yeah.
I'll ask you, but if you could just start out introducing yourself and how you kind of came about to creating the channel and also just like stumbling upon ways to make money.
Okay, so I guess where I'll start with everything is that really as far back as I can remember, like literally when I was in kindergarten, I would make friendship bracelets and sell them at school. Yeah. I have always been that kid, like when my mom or dad or teacher or whoever asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, when I was 4, 5, 6 years old, I said I wanted to be an artist. Now, at the time, I thought I meant like painting or drawing or something like that. And then as I grew older, for a while, I wanted to be a singer. For a while, I wanted to be a dancer. I grew up dancing. I was always I was in private schools, and then I was in an art school for middle school and high school. Yeah. And I was just very much a creative person, and I never really fell into like, oh, I want to be a veterinarian or I want to be a chef. Like there was never a specific thing. It was always changing.
Yeah.
And I realized like by the time that I was in like my sophomore year of high school, I didn't even want to go to school because nothing at school interested me. And I just wanted to be doing my own thing. And I was already selling on eBay and Poshmark and Instagram and whatever when I was in like 9th and 10th grade. So it kind of just went from there. And then I found the world of YouTube. I started making YouTube videos with my American Girl dolls when I was 10 years old. So that's how YouTube started. And then it slowly turned into, I kind of just followed the trends until I really found what I was interested in. So now that's what I'm posting. But that's how, I mean, it's kind of just in my blood. I've been doing this kind of stuff since I was a kid. So
yeah. I'm like kind of the same way, so it's pretty interesting to hear like you say that. But I've also like always trying to like find different ways to make money and like setting up like weird websites and like trying to sell stuff to like strangers on the internet.
I can't tell you how many like random websites I've set up. Like I have never been one, like I'm not a drinker. I have never been much of a drinker at all. And I set up a website called like what was it? It was like cafe something that had to do with wine, and it was all coffee and wine merchandise.
Really?
Like shirts and bracelets and stuff like that. And like looking back on it, I'm like, why did you even do that? Because you like you don't care about wine. But I've done so many like weird random projects like that just because I look at everything as like, oh my gosh, like there's a market for that.
Yeah.
So I need to market to those people, you know? So
I mean, yeah, there definitely is a big market for that. So yeah, it's really interesting. And just for anyone who's just joining, this is the, I guess, interview / conversation with Alexis Goulis. She's been on the channel. She has done a bunch of different gig apps, I guess, like Lyft. I know you've done Instacart, which is how I found you was through Instacart video. DoorDash. I don't know. You've done a lot, but basically we're just having this conversation. She has a YouTube channel as well, so all that is going to be linked in the description. But yeah, feel free to leave your questions, guys, and we can include those into the conversation. So just a couple shout outs from Tyrone, Laverne, Reese, World, Edson Nito, he's from Chicago. Beacon of Light Driver, DJ Quicksilva, What's Up from Vegas.
Vegas
is.
I wanna go there.
Yeah, let's go to Vegas. Gary Colonna, what's up? Yeah, so basically, yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about you setting up your eBay store and what you're doing like now with all of that, and then also like I want to talk about rideshare and food delivery and like your thoughts on that, and then also like how it's like the purpose behind it all and like why and how that has helped you in your journey to just like, I know you said in a couple of your videos, like you used it to be able to travel like financially independently and then like not have to go to college or like get a conventional job. And so like, I just want to know why, and then like also how you like stay happy. And like, I know like some of your videos are like dealing with like stress and like depression, and like I deal with that as well. So I want to like openly have that because I know a lot of other people in this industry deal with that. And but yeah, so basically, so I already asked you how did you first start out, but like, yeah, can you tell me about your eBay store?
So my eBay store, okay, so like I said, I was selling stuff for the most part, like just random stuff out of my closet when I think I remember going all the way back to like 8th or 9th grade. Now, okay, I know you're not a girl, so you don't totally understand this, but with girls, it's like you go over to your friend's house for a sleepover, and usually you end up with your friends like giving you some of their clothes or something like that. You end up trading, whatever. I always made my friends pay me. Some people thought that was rude. For me, I was like, if you want this shirt, I bought it for $10. You can have it for $5. Like that's just, and I mean, for me, like my mom bought it for $10, not me at that age, but you know what I mean? So,
profiting.
I mean, like even as far back as I can remember, I remember posting pictures on my Instagram when I was like a freshman or sophomore in high school and having like people from school buy it. And then I would just meet them and give it to them in the school bathroom or whatever. And so I had a full-time job working in sales when I got pregnant with my son. And I was like ready to go on maternity leave. Now, I had only been there for, I think like 6 months, and you had to be there for a year in order to like actually get a maternity leave. So they were like, well, you have to be back within 4 weeks. I was like, okay, well, I'm not coming back in 4 weeks. Like, there's no way I'm coming back.
I just watched that video that you made, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I made a whole video talking about that. So, I mean, I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm not coming back in 4 weeks. There's absolutely no way. So I actually had just like 3 or 4 weeks before that, I had a prepaid college fund that my parents had set up for me, and I actually cashed it out like 3 or 4 weeks before that. So I had a nest egg of about, I think it was like $6,000 or $7,000. So I was like, okay, I can like not work for a while, and then I can just find a new job.
Yeah.
And I was already making YouTube videos and stuff at that point, which, I mean, it wasn't much money at the time or anything like that, but it was something, of course. I still had a little bit of an income.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I'll just live off the college fund money and we'll be fine, whatever. So I think it was probably about a month and a half after my son was born. I was like, I'm just going to start like cleaning out my closet. Like, I know I have a ton of stuff I could sell and whatever. And around the same time, one of my friends introduced me to a Goodwill bin store. Do you know what that is?
I mean, I know Goodwill, but.
So there's Goodwill bins or Goodwill outlet, whatever you want to call it. In my area, it's actually called a Goodwill bargain barn. But basically, it's everything that didn't sell at Goodwill. And they put it in big, giant bins, and you can kind of just dig through it.
Oh.
And everything is by the pound. So in my area, it's $1.69. Other places I've heard it go up to like $2.99 or something like that, but it's extremely cheap. So my friend introduced me to that, and I became addicted. And I would go in there with my newborn baby strapped to me, and I would leave with like a whole cart full of stuff, like almost every single day.
Yeah.
And I would come home, I would take pictures of all of it, I would put it on eBay, and after, I think it was like 8 or 9 months, my husband actually quit his job too, and we were just doing eBay full time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it turned into like this crazy thing that we didn't realize could happen. So at this point, I have started to focus a lot more on social media and my website, my personal brand, and all of that.
Yeah.
And I've scaled back on eBay a lot. So he is actually working part-time now, just so that I can like focus on everything else. We're not doing eBay as much, but we are still doing really well with eBay. I keep looking this way because my eBay storage is right there. I actually have my laptop sitting on top of 2 bins full of eBay stuff right now.
Wait, can you join, or can you not move your computer?
Yeah, sure. So in the new place, okay, so wait. At the old place, we had our entire garage full of plastic bins of eBay stuff. That was like our warehouse.
Yeah.
And now we're actually using the walk-in closet in our bedroom for eBay storage.
Dang.
So it's definitely a lot less than it used to be, but yeah, we're still doing eBay to an extent. So
yeah, well, yeah, I definitely want to talk more. I want to get into like Lyft and Uber and food delivery really quickly because I know a lot of people are here for that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk completely about the eBay stuff, even though I
go on rants. I'm sorry.
No. Even though I think it's personally fascinating, and I actually so I have never sold on eBay, but I've sold through Facebook Marketplace, and I used to flip like I know you like follow Gary Vee as well, or like you at least at some point you did, and like the whole flip thing. And I used to go out and I would go on Facebook and buy used surfboards, and I would like resell them for like 3 times as much. And so I would buy like a $50 surfboard and sell it for like sometimes more, sometimes like $300, because like that's like one thing I did. And then recently since I'm in college now, like I started flipping couches, and so because everyone needs a couch, and so like I would be like on Facebook every day, like searching up couches.
I love that.
And then like reselling them at like way higher price. But anyways, yeah, guys, let me if you guys have any questions, leave them in the live chat. Let me know where you guys are watching this from. So let's see. I applied for Postmates, but I work for Lyft. I can't seem to find the time to do Postmates. What should I do?
I would say honestly, it's best, at least in my area and in my experience, it's best to do Lyft at like, I don't know, I feel like the rush hours are different, and you could totally do both. At least in my area.
Yeah.
There's like early morning Lyft and Uber rush, and then you have the breakfast rush for food deliveries, and then you have like midday, you could do probably either Lyft or Uber or Postmates, pick whichever one you end up making more money with. and then everyone gets out of work, and then they order dinner. So
I feel like there's always a market for either one. Like,
yeah.
I found that during the day, like Lyft and Uber is not that good, but like 10 to 11 to like 3, like there's like a 4 or 5 hour where it's kind of slow, like in between rush hours. But
food delivery is probably really good in that time.
Yeah, exactly, like lunch. What city and state are you in? Do you want our address as well?
I'm in Florida.
I'm in the United States of America.
Right.
Ree's World is from Atlanta. Francisco's from, I don't know, he's speaking Spanish. Maybe he's from Mexico. Oh, do you think Postmates would work out there from DJ Quicksilver? Big city. It's a big city. But I heard horror stories. Oh, this guy says, I deal with depression, but Lyft has really helped me to open up and be funny and smile, which is a big change for me now. But I'm always nervous when I start a new ride.
Agree. Relate, 100%.
At first, when I first started doing rides, I was like super nervous, and then I don't know, I became fine with it.
Yeah.
But, one ride at a time. Buffalo, New York. Yeah. So cool. So I just wanted to ask you, yeah, let's see. How about driving for Lyft as, I know we already made a video about this, but like as a female, how is that?
Yeah.
Like,
honestly, it's really funny because it seems like with Lyft, I get more female riders. I don't know why that is. I don't know if that is like something with their algorithm. They try to pair women with women, but with Uber, it's not anywhere near like that. I get a lot more men with Uber than I do with Lyft. I do find I do not like driving past like 8 or 9 p.m. because you start getting people who are drinking, and especially men, it tends to be a little awkward because with women, they're constantly trying to flirt or get your number or whatever, and it's just really uncomfortable. But early morning seems to be my favorite because everyone's just on their way to work. No one's trying to flirt with you, you know, like it's like so. Yeah. And then there is like certain areas right around me that I know I'm more likely to be in a really uncomfortable situation. So a lot of times I have actually just rejected rides from that area specifically. So it's good to know your area that you're in as well.
Definitely. Is that like if it's like coming from bars or something, or
what do you? Oh, not from bars. No, I mean just like
town, like actual
certain areas of the city that I'm in. So
yeah. Cool. And then I guess so I mean it's definitely things to be cautious of. I mean, even for me, I prefer driving in the morning just because it's
and always verifying. I know there's a lot of people that don't. It's always important to make sure you say, what's your name, or like something like that. I don't like to ask them like, are you Ryan, because then they can just say yes.
Exactly.
So I think it's better to say like, I think I'm your Lyft driver, what's your name, you know.
Yeah, that's really important. And I actually so for the past few months, now that I'm like in college and stuff, I take Uber and Lyft a lot as passenger. Like that's one of my main forms of transportation. And out of maybe like, I don't know, I've probably taken 20, 30 rides in the past like couple months. And like, I don't think I maybe have had 2 or 3 drivers ask me like, before I got in, like what my name is. Yeah. And, like, usually they'll just be like, are you Dylan? And I could, easily be like, yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Not, or like, so I think it's important to like keep your doors locked, like roll down the window and be like, hey, who's, I don't know, like, what's your name?
Yeah.
And then, just being like going the extra mile to be like cautious and wary of that. And then what do you think of like food delivery versus rideshare?
I think kind of like what I was just saying. I feel like there's a time and a place for both of them. And it's very much just like depends on what's going on around your area and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I mean, as far as the money goes, I think they're about the same.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, pretty much. I think that food delivery is a lot better if you don't want to talk to people. I'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really like a huge fan of food delivery, to be honest. I mean, personally, like I tried it and I don't know. I just can't wrap my mind around like, I think it's because people order the food like from their couch and then like, I just feel kind of like their slave. Like, it's just like 100%.
I get that. It's like a weird thing for me is doing Instacart. I'm probably going to get like some random person that gives me a hate comment for this. But because I'm vegan, when I go to the grocery store and I'm doing an Instacart order and I'm buying like meat, I literally have to walk up to someone that works there and be like, what's a prime rib? Like, I have no idea anything about cheese or meat or anything like that. So it's like awkward sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really either. I thought you were going to say like you don't want to touch it or something.
Well, that too.
You're like, can you put that in the cart for me?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ree's World says, I'm a female, by the way, and I don't do it at night.
Yeah, I think it's a lot safer for women to avoid at night, especially on the weekends.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, I have nothing against food delivery. I just personally, it's not my preferred method of payment. Jacksonville, Yabba Dabba Doobies Smoke Shop and Confident Contractors LLC Construction Company says Jacksonville, Florida in the house. The roof.
That was a really long username. I love it though.
It was like, you can't see it, but the only night I drive after midnight is New Year's Eve. I made $450 the last one. Wow, that's awesome.
Wow, yeah.
I haven't done the after midnight passers. I'm not a fan of FARF. Yeah, if you don't drive at like past 10, you probably most of the time you can avoid that. But yeah. All right, back to you, which is, I know I don't have so much time in the world, and I want to ask you some things. Let's see. So I guess in the midst of like, I mean, a normal job is like set up for like having coworkers and like people you can depend on, and even like the hierarchy. Like sometimes the job can like be bad, but for the most part, like jobs are set up to like kind of, you know, there's a whole routine of everything, and like you can balance your work and then you go home and have like your social life or whatever. But like it's not necessarily the case with rideshare, food delivery, eBay, flipping, setting up, being an influencer. How do you focus on staying happy and healthy?
So as far as happiness and health, I will say like that is part of my job, to be honest. And I partially have done that on purpose, but part of that is just I found that it's a necessity. I have totally realized that that's something that everyone struggles with, not just me.
Yeah.
And for a long time, I thought I was alone in that. And I realized that that's so not true. And almost everyone has something that they deal with, whether it's depression or anxiety or eating disorders or whatever it is, even just stress. And it's something that's not talked about enough. I went for so long. Sorry.
Before you continue, I just want to say, like, for most people who post on Instagram and stuff, like, people who are influencers, like, they only share, like, the best 2% of their life. And I just want to say, like, you share the reality of, like, what's really going on. And I just want to, like, commend you for that. And also for everyone watching, that most people who you see posting online are not as happy as they appear. And
100%.
Yeah, so sorry, continue. I just wanted to.
No, you're fine. Thank you for that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, exactly like you just said, like it's not talked about enough. people don't post about it. People don't post about when they have bad days or when they're going through rough times or anything like that. And I just think that that's something that's so important because it makes, not only from like a business standpoint, but just from like a person standpoint, like it makes anyone who's looking at your content go, oh wow, like they're a human too.
Yeah, definitely.
And like you don't feel that when you scroll through Instagram and you find like this perfect Instagram model or like whoever, you're like, oh my gosh, like I wish I could have their life, like that kind of thing. But they don't even have that life.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so it's like, I don't know. That's where I've just like realized all of that and put the pieces together and been like, I want my social media to be real life so that anyone can go, oh my gosh, like she's doing all of this. I can do that too. Yeah. Not like, oh my gosh, she's doing all of this and I could never do that. And I'm so jealous and this and that and whatever. Mm-hmm. I want everything that I'm doing for whoever it is that they're looking at it to be like, oh, I can do that too.
Yeah.
So that's like the whole mission of everything that I'm doing basically. So yeah, pretty much. As far as like a balance goes, or like you were saying, like a work-life balance, it's been really difficult. I think I'm starting to get to a point of being able to be like, okay, I'm working, now I'm not working. Yeah. But for the longest time, especially being an influencer, it's like my work is my life and my life is work, you know? So yeah. Starting to figure out separation there, but
it's a lifelong process.
Yeah, very much so. I've been, if you've noticed, and I've talked about it in my Instagram stories, I've been off of social media a little bit more lately. And even like my Instagram stories, I don't think I've even posted a story in like 4 or 5 days now. And it's been like, I'll post one like every week and that's about it, which I need to get back on it. But yeah, so pretty much.
Gary Vee would just be like, post throughout everything.
Gary Vee would be like, you're supposed to be posting 200 times a day. What are you doing?
Like, if you're crying, you should post that you're crying.
Yeah.
I actually do like how you don't post that often on Instagram though. Because like when you do post a story, that's like, 10 or 15 like
minutes long.
Not like minutes, but like each little 10-second thing. Like I'll actually watch it. Whereas like if you post it every day, like I probably just wouldn't watch all of them.
You just skip right through, yeah.
But like it's almost like updating your like everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go through a couple comments here. So let's see. Yeah. Okay, some of these are a little inappropriate, but
they always are with me for some reason.
What?
For some reason, people always comment inappropriate things to me.
They're just, that's YouTube, I guess.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like this is from Reasonable. Sometimes I feel like Lyft sends me on 20-minute rides out of the way, like they don't like me. I'd have to turn my driver mode off often because I have lupus. Oh wow.
Have what? Lupus?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's hard to deal with. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. But also, like, if you have a really long pickup, you don't need to accept the really long rides. What city and state are you guys in? I think somebody already asked that.
Yeah.
Here in Vegas, you can make that in a night easy if you play the strip clubs. Oh yeah, I guess if you. Oh yeah. Have you heard that? Like some clubs and strip clubs, like they'll pay drivers like for taking them to the club.
No.
Like taxi drivers, like the strip club will pay the driver.
Huh.
Because they want like more customers. I don't really know how.
Oh, wow.
I don't really know how it works. I just have.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you can answer this one. He says, I'm really new to this and nervous about the process. So like, what do you have for somebody who's like, or what kind of advice would you give to somebody who's just like, maybe they're not happy at their current job or like they want to get out and try like new ways to make money? For me, I'll just say really quickly, like for me, I always recommend like stick with your job. Even if you don't like it, like stick with your job and do whatever you really like doing like on the side part-time until you can kind of like transition, or like try to find a job that you do like and then, you know, make money on the side on your own and then like slowly transition. But what kind of advice do you have?
So it's really funny that you just said that, because right before you started talking, what?
Are you like, oh, okay, go ahead.
Well, right before you said, oh wait, I'll go ahead and say, I was like about to say something, and I'll tell you what I was gonna say. I was gonna say the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Like the complete opposite. But I will say, and anyone who knows me, and I've talked about it in videos and everything, I am the type of person where like if something excites me, that's what I'm doing. I don't care if all of the odds are completely in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
I'm doing that.
Yeah.
So if I'm like, I'm going to do Uber full time and that's all I'm going to do, and I'm going to support my family on that and whatever, that's what I'm doing. Like by job that I've been at for 10 years, like I'm going to do Uber. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think that it depends on the person.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like for me, like I would do exactly that. Yeah. And I think for a lot of people, that's not possible. And they would be super overwhelmed and wouldn't know what to do and might struggle for a really long time. And yeah, so I think it depends on the person. But as far as
just like commenting on that, like
yeah,
your method, like or like going the opposite, like yours has more risk, but like there's definitely more reward. And like if you know, if you do succeed, like you're gonna be really happy, like in the long, or like overall, knowing that you're actually doing what you really like, or like But for me, like, you know, work something that you don't even like for a while for like stability purposes, and and then at the same time, you can't really fully devote to what you're, you know, what you want to do. So like it's my approach is very conservative, whereas or like not like politically, but
no, I get what you mean.
But and then yours is just like, just go for it. Where like,
I'm more of like a do or die kind of person. So I would very much so just be like, yeah, that's what I'm doing, and I'm doing it right now. And I'm like that. I mean, like, for example, when we were moving, I knew that I wanted to switch the sheets on my bed from tan to gray. And my grandma's like, well, just wait, because my grandma is like, she tries to control my life. I love her to death, but like, she tries to control my life. But I was like, I want gray sheets. And she's like, okay, well, just wait until after you move, and then you can get gray sheets and you can put them on your like fresh, new, clean bed in your fresh, new, clean house, whatever. I was like, no, I am going to the store right now and I'm buying gray sheets. And I did not go to sleep that night until my gray sheets were washed and put on my mattress. And like, that's how I am with everything. So like, once I've made my mind up and I know what I want, like I am doing that right this very second. So yeah.
Dang, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I think it's different types of people, you know. Everyone's different. It just depends on what your type of flow is, you know.
Yeah. So. I think also I like am like this because I have tried your method and just have like crashed and burned. So like.
Yeah, well, and like I said, I mean, like it doesn't work for you, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So getting back on the topic a little bit of like rideshare, food delivery, and also this is just more about like making money, but I do want to like accommodate people who come to my channel just for rideshare. Is like overall, I know you have talked about depression and being dealing with stress, and I know you just moved, which is a very there's like a financial coach that I follow a little bit. I follow a few, like Gary Vee is one of them, but also there's a guy named Dave Ramsey. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Oh yeah.
But one of the things he says, like some people call into a show and they're like, hey, you like, I want to move to like lower my rent cost or whatever, because I want to like save money. And he's like, look, like moving is one is financially hard because you need to pay a deposit or whatever, and like sometimes you need to like move all your stuff, and like maybe you can like do it all yourself, and then and then secondly, it's very like emotionally draining. So it's like financially and emotionally draining to move. So like I know you're going through that, and like just doing rideshare and food delivery, like what are some ways, I guess, in that? I mean, yeah, if you want to talk about like how, I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but like just on the other side, like what are some ways that you deal with it and combat that side?
So my basis of my life pretty much is, okay, so I was diagnosed with depression when I was 7 years old.
Really?
So I have dealt with extreme depression for a very, very long time. It is at like its lowest point now and has been for probably the past 2 years or so.
Yeah.
But it comes and goes in waves. When you have clinical depression, that's what happens. And I am one to be like, I do not want to take any medication. My doctor was like, well, I mean, I don't really know what to tell you other than to take medication. So like, you're gonna have to figure it out. So everything that I do, every single choice that I make, decision that I make, whatever, is based on making sure that like I'm staying sane.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get into something if it's going to make me uncomfortable or if it's going to make me stressed out or whatever. And ironically, with you talking about with the move and everything, I am way less stressed because we moved. So we just moved from a 5-bedroom house with a 2-car garage and like one of those fancy extra formal dining rooms and like all that crazy stuff to now we're in a little 2-bedroom apartment. And we're paying the same amount now that we were living in the other house. So I think it's like $100 less a month after all expenses or whatever, but pretty much the same. Most people would be like, you're crazy. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just stay in the house? The reason for that is because like for me, and probably for you who could relate to this too, my time is money, and that house took me like literally 2 days to clean if I need to clean it like top to bottom.
Yeah.
And just like the typical around the house cleaning up whatever throughout the week just stressed me out so much. That was like most of my stress for the past 2.5 years were because of the house that we were living in.
Yeah.
So moving was a lot, partially because the people that own the house want to sell it, but also partially because I wanted to get out of a super, super stressful environment. Mm-hmm. And now we're in this like beautiful, serene, like I can do yoga in any room I want, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and everything that I do, like I said, is just me
on your balcony too.
Myself. What'd you say?
I said, and on your balcony too.
Oh yeah, everywhere. There's like plants in every single, like everywhere you look. Macrame things on the walls, like all that.
I don't know exactly where you are, but like that lake slash like
I love it.
That you live by is so cool looking.
I love it. And there's like a little balcony right here in the bedroom, and then the lake's right there. It's awesome.
Yeah,
I love being here. Yeah, I love being here. And I don't know. I'm a very spiritual person.
Yeah.
And I like, to me, it's like everything happens for a reason. And that's something that has really helped me a lot with depression and anxiety and everything, just life in general, is just realizing like everything that happens in your life, not only was it already planned before it happened and like it was supposed to happen, but you also have to be able to like on the other side of that happening, say, okay, that was my past. I need to let that go. And like literally minutes in the past, like if someone said something to you 5 minutes ago and it pissed you off, like chill out. Like who cares? It's over. It already happened. Like you can't do anything about it. Move on.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest thing, is living in the moment, realizing that the past has already happened. You can't go back and change it. The future is something.
Shoot. Oh gosh. Are we good? Hello, guys. I don't know. Maybe her Wi-Fi lost connection. I'm gonna wait to see if Alexis comes back on, because she, I think she lost Wi-Fi. I'm just gonna go through a couple comments though while we do that. So let me just try to email her. I agree on a good, so Tyrone says, I agree on a good game plan. Refocus was a great thing for me as well. The human life for order direction. Joe says she teleported into the future. Mark, how are you? Hey. So yeah, a couple people are saying like depression doesn't exist, and then
Sorry.
oh,
I'm here.
oh, thank
My
God.
computer died.
Yeah, I was like, I guess she's gone.
Sorry.
I'm gonna wait for her to come back. So I was going through some comments, but
sorry.
Okay, yeah, continue if you remember where you left off.
I was pretty much done with what I was saying, but yeah, basically just the biggest thing that I can say when it comes to depression, anxiety, even, I mean, I've dealt with so many different things, but eating disorders, just stress in general, dealing with bad bosses, bad friends, bad teachers, coworkers, whatever. The past is the past, let it go, and the future is out of your control. No matter what you do, your future is not in your control. It's already been decided, and what's going to happen was meant to happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have also like gotten, yeah, I went through some depression, and I saw somebody also did recommend me to take, yeah, antidepressants, and I didn't like them at all. I did try them out actually, but
I actually took antidepressants for like a month, maybe like 2 weeks, I want to say.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, not for me.
I got like all jittery when I took mine.
See, and for me, it was like the opposite. I was like a zombie. I could not get out of bed. Like,
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, plus there was like a bunch of risks with, I was just like,
oh yeah, it's like warning may cause death. I'm like, okay, well, cool.
The funniest one was like, oh yeah, 5% or like 10% of users experience a heightened, what is it, like heightened, like wanting to commit suicide. I was like, what?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
But oh yeah, I was gonna say, some people in the comments, some people are saying that depression does not exist, and then other people are saying like, no, it is very real. And I have, this is the reason I bring it up is because I've had a lot of people, I've heard both sides of the story, and it's saying like, you know, the less you think about, or like the less you think about it, the less it actually exists. And like, I have experienced it. Like, you know, I don't know if it's, you know, whatever, like there's a lot of things that I don't know if they really do exist, but like mental health is really huge. And like, there's the reason why a lot of people like are struggling is because of mental health. And
oh yeah,
yeah, I think it's very real, but I don't know. What do you think about?
I think it's very much related to the full body. I mean, if you look at statistics and studies and whatever, the rates of obesity and heart disease and diabetes and all like health problems, health whatever issues, whatever, cancer, everything like that has risen over the last 50 years, and so has mental health problems.
Yeah.
And that all goes back to what we are doing with our bodies, what we're fueling ourselves with, the exercise that we're getting or not getting, the amount of water that we're drinking or not drinking. And on top of that, stress. Stress is such a huge thing when it comes to your health and sleep too. I mean, all of those things weigh into how healthy you are just as a human being. And most of the time, people who are diabetic or have cancer or deal with autoimmune disorders or whatever it is also deal with some type of a mental health problem.
Yeah.
So I think it's just all completely intertwined. Almost always, if you have someone who has been diagnosed with depression, they also have some type of a health problem. I mean, I consider mental health to be a health problem as well, but they are separated in how they're treated and stuff like that. But I think it all goes right back down to everything. And like, for example, I was recently undiagnosed, but diagnosed. Like, I wasn't technically diagnosed, but my doctor was like, I know what you have. It's just off record. Basically, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder. And in all of my symptoms with that being so bad over the last few months, I've also been dealing with probably my biggest flare up of depression in the last 2 years. So they're very, very much related.
Yeah.
And people who are overall healthy people usually don't deal with mental health problems.
Yeah.
So those are the people who are going to say, like, I don't think that exists. Because they don't understand it, because they've never had to deal with it. And they'll go, oh, well, you're just stressed out. Oh, well, you're just nervous because you're going on a date with a new guy, or like something like that. So, yeah.
I mean, we could talk about this forever. I also think it's fascinating, and like, because when I was a kid, I didn't have like the best. I mean, I don't want to get into all the details, but like, there was some problems that were going on. But like, as a kid, like I was like the most happy kid ever. Like, in the midst of like stuff going on, like I just was like, I like threw it all out. Like, I just didn't acknowledge it.
That's how I was.
Later on, like, it kind of caught up to me. But like, I always think it's fascinating to see kids who like really deal with like depression or like stress like at such an early age. And I almost think it's like a sense of maturity that they can like actually understand what's going on. Because like, when you're immature, like, you just maybe not immature, like whatever. Like, I think it's normal to like
when you have a normal kid brain.
like a normal person. Like, I feel like I was pretty normal. Like, I didn't want to deal with it, so I was like, I'm just gonna be happy, like try my best. But like, I always think it's fascinating to see like kids who are able to actually process that. It's almost like a good sign. But Tyrone says, I really appreciate the positive energy of you two.
Nothing but positivity here.
Tyrone says mental illness is very real. Let's see. For the new people, who is Alexis? Yeah, so for all the new people watching, hi.
Me, hi.
I reached out to Alexis probably like a month or two ago. I was looking for basically, and for all the people who, you know, haven't been following me for a while, I started making videos on YouTube a couple months ago. Like, I started uploading like almost a year ago, but didn't take it seriously until like 3 or 4 months ago. And then that's when I started like reaching out to people who were like, you know, successful and like growing, and who like knew about like rideshare and food delivery. So that's when I reached out to Alexis. She has a video on Instacart that has over 100,000 views. She has
I think that's actually my most viewed video at this point.
Yeah, she has several other videos on gig, like food delivery and rideshare and stuff. So that's how we met. And then, and this is the first time that we're doing this live stream. So that's who Alexis is. And she just basically has found out ways to make money, which, I can relate to that. But, cool. So I want to ask you, let's see. Yeah, this is actually a good topic, because there's a lot of people watching who are like mothers and fathers, and have a family, and they're also trying to navigate their way through into financial independency. And I don't know, what do you even call it? Like, it's not like, it's almost like, I guess it's just entrepreneurship, like finding different ways to make money.
Yeah.
So how do you find a balance? And like, congratulations, by the way. But I'm like being it, because I know, I mean, you're a new mother. So I feel like I can still say that.
Yeah.
But,
My son's 2, so I would still consider myself to be a new mother. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, how do you, first of all, like, what's that like? And then also, how do you kind of manage your time with your son, and then also doing like finding these odd jobs or like not odd jobs, but like,
Yeah. Okay. So when he was a lot younger, I would say like when he was like 1 and younger, I was mostly doing eBay at that point.
Yeah.
Actually, I was only doing eBay at that point, other than like random. I do all kinds of like random local stuff too, with like random people locally, all kinds of crazy stuff. I've done everything you can think of.
Yeah.
But I would like take him with me and clean houses. And like the person, a lot of times it was like an older woman, and she would just like hang out with him on the couch while I cleaned their house and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when he was like 1 to like 1.5 and younger, I would take him with me different places doing different jobs. I would take him with me when I went to the thrift store, and he pretty much always knew that he was going to end up just chilling on the lady at the register's hip the whole time while I shopped.
Really?
Or something like that. Everyone there knows us and everyone loves him. And then a lot of times I would do my pictures and listings while he was napping, or after he went to bed, or before he woke up in the morning, stuff like that. And then Brandon was also home with me when he was like 10, like 9 or 10 months old, until, I mean, like he's still home part-time now.
Yeah.
So it's easier with him only working part-time or not working at all for me to be like, okay, well, like you're going to take him today. I'm going to go sit at Starbucks and work for like 6 hours, and then I'll come home.
Yeah.
And it's honestly like with us, it's day by day. Like tomorrow he's going into work at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we actually share a car. So
Okay. Yeah.
I am getting up at 5:30 in the morning tomorrow and going with him, with our son, to take him to work, and then coming home, and I'm probably going to go thrifting, and then I have a video to edit for you tomorrow, and I need to do that. So yeah, it's just day by day figuring out like what works for us. And then if one or the other parent is working full time, of course it's even harder.
Yeah.
But babysitters, school, whatever, and then of course after the kids go to bed at night is the best time to get anything done. So yeah.
Yeah, you're busy.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, I mean it's really awesome, and I think a lot of people can relate to that, and it's good for them to hear that as well.
It's also, I'll just say, it's also really, really good for like doing what I'm doing, and with Brandon being a part of that, it's really good for like if we do want to take a break, we can. Like we can take 3 days off whenever we want and go to Disney and come home, and everything is still where we left it. And it's all up to us. Like we can, I mean, other than like right now he's working part-time, but where he's at, he can just be like, hey, I don't want to come to work for 3 days. They'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good to be able to be, like you said, financially independent, be able to make your own decisions. And like, as he gets older, if he has like a school play or a soccer game or whatever it is that he's into, we're not going to be the parents that are like, oh, well, I can't come because I have to work.
Yeah.
We'll be like, okay, we'll be there. I don't care if it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday, So it's really great to be able to do that.
Yeah. Two good sides to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you were like traveling for a while, right? As well.
We do travel pretty often, but we actually, like right now, we just signed into a 14-month lease. After this 14-month lease is up, we are getting a 10-foot trailer, and we're going to be traveling all over the country. So
That's
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's why I'm trying to like weed out my eBay stuff and figure out something else.
Yeah.
So.
Are you drinking out of a metal straw?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about guys, we're gonna talk. Leave your comments, guys. We're gonna go through some questions like just on rideshare and food delivery. So leave your questions. But I did want to, before we get back into rideshare and food delivery and kind of wrap this thing up, I wanted to ask you about your journey to zero waste, because I know you like. Is it true that you make your own toothpaste?
Yeah,
And,
I
like,
do. I actually have a video on my YouTube channel of how I make it. It's literally just coconut oil and baking soda, and that's it. Sometimes I put peppermint essential oil in it, but yeah, I do some really weird stuff, and all of my friends make fun of me, and it's so much fun.
I would make fun of you if I was your like.
No. I know. Everyone makes fun of me.
I mean, in a good way though, like.
Yeah.
Kind of jealous / like envy.
Yeah, I mean, everyone, honestly, almost everyone that I know is like very much like, oh my gosh, I wish I could do that. And that's like my big thing. Like I said, that's my thing, is like anyone can do it. Like I'm not anyone special at all. Mm-hmm. And anything that I do, anyone else could do too. And yeah, but I live a very weird life. I am very much, at least before we moved, I thought I was a minimalist. Now I think I have way too much stuff because we crammed everything into this tiny little space. And I'm like, whoa, I need to get rid of stuff. But I'm very much a minimalist type of person. Yeah. And yeah, like I'm like looking around my room now because I'm thinking about it. But like we don't have a bed frame, and that's by choice. Our mattress is on the floor. We have plant stands as nightstands. Like I have some really weird things that are my life. But yeah, I make my own toothpaste. The only cleaning product I use.
Empty walls. I have.
Okay, see, that's my one thing though. I like. Well, my computer's plugged in now, but I'm very much into like, well, there's my light, but things on my walls and stuff like that. But they're all things that like are very important to me. That's like,
yeah,
everything that I have has a purpose and is something that adds value to my life rather than just fills up space. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, as far as zero waste, it's very much a journey, and it's something that I totally knew what I was doing before we moved, and now where we're at, there's not a recycling program, and I can't really compost because I don't have a backyard. Yeah. So I have to get a compost bin and figure out how to like have worms on my patio, and I have to drive across the street to recycle, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, I'm very weird about plastic and recycling and all kinds of stuff. So
it's really important, I think. I mean, it's just being sustainable is yeah.
And it saves a lot of money. Talking about money, it saves so much money.
That's like a big thing that I've found is that my like one of like the guy who I follow, like he talks a lot about Dave Ramsey. He talks a lot about like minimizing all your payments and like debts and stuff. And then like, cause some people and me, including me, like I had a lot of payments and I was just like, I refuse to like subscribe to Netflix or Spotify, even though it's like $5 a month. I know that like psychologically, if I'm paying less, like just like it's investing. It's like everything is like, yeah, it's just like in where you investing your time. Like you're talking about like being a mom, like you're able to like take a sacrifice, but like invest it. And so with zero waste, it's like you're able to make your own toothpaste, which means you don't need to buy a $2 thing of toothpaste every like 2 weeks, which like over time, if you have 20 of these things, like they add up. And that way, like you don't need to consequently, you don't need to work, let's say 2 or 3 hours because you're like saving.
Because of toothpaste.
Yeah, because you're doing something tiny like making your own toothpaste. And like for me, like a big reason why I have found like rideshare and like all these different ways to make money online is because like I wanted to minimize my payments and now like just focus on what I really like doing.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, David says some debt is good debt. If debt produces revenue, it could be worthwhile, folks. Normal is broken here, unfortunately. Normal. David, are you from the future? Oh, $1 billion question. How to make the rideshare industry run on completely clean energy?
Tesla.
Yeah.
Everyone buy a Tesla.
Probably, yeah. I was just going to say electric vehicles.
Yeah.
It's definitely doable. And I think,
Yeah.
I mean, Elon Musk has already worked. He's already done so much. And actually, I think he's done 90% of his job. Like, he's already convinced everyone in the world that electric cars are the future. And like, now every car company is coming out with electric cars. And
oh yeah,
like he could just stop now and most of like he would already have saved the world like so much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. What do you have any advice for like new drivers, new rideshare drivers, or like female drivers? I guess we kind of talked about that a little bit, right?
A little bit, yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't say there's really anything specific that I would say other than, of course, just keep track of everything, keep track of your mileage and all of that. Make sure you have all of your ducks in a row before even doing your first ride. And just don't be afraid of people, you know?
Yeah.
Like, don't go into it being afraid, because if you do, then
yeah,
thoughts are powerful. I mean, we kind of talked about that, but thoughts are powerful and you attract anything that you're thinking about. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, something really bad is going to happen, something really bad is going to happen. So think positive. Think this person's going to give me a $20 tip. So
law of attraction.
Yeah.
What do you think about law of attraction?
Oh, it's so real.
Yeah, right?
I have used it in my own life so many times, and like down to I literally visualized the room that I'm in right now a year ago. And like I went to bed every single night a year ago, closing my eyes and just picturing the room around me, and that's the room that I'm in. And that's it. Yeah, I've seen it work in my own life so many times that I'm like, you're crazy if you don't think it's real. So yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you're just on a different level. Okay, I think we're pretty much covered most of the topics, but I'm trying to squeeze it as much as I can into this little.
Yeah, go for it.
But have you ever taken like, I know you never went to college, right? Or you went for a little bit?
No, I've had a lot of like education. I'll say that, but not like actually in college. No.
Yeah, the reason I want to ask is, oh, Tyrone has to leave. All right, bye, Tyrone.
Bye.
Teslas have major problems. Their battery life decreased by 40%. I don't know exactly how that works.
Their batteries are stupid expensive.
Yeah. They're saying you're a talker.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
They're saying, can we follow you guys on Instagram?
Of course.
Yeah, link in the description, bro. Come on. Just stay busy in a positive way and surround yourself with good people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And love yourself.
Love yourself. Yeah. I agree on a good game plan. Refocus was a good thing for me. Human life, keeping optimistic. Seeing a good counselor was the key. Yeah. I think like more people should see therapists. Or like at least people, maybe not a therapist, but like talk with somebody you trust.
Somebody, yeah.
Your friend could be a therapist, like somebody that you really trust. or a family member.
Or if you're like me, you are that person for everyone around you, and then you just go, oh, I need to take my own advice.
Are you that person where like everyone comes to you?
Oh, 100%. Anyone that, I'm not kidding when I say that almost anyone that I have ever like exchanged words with,
yeah,
comes to me with all of their problems. So wow. I'm that person, but I'm an empath, and I tend to take on that person's problems as my own. Yeah. And that's where I've started in the past, like probably 6 months or so, realizing I have to like disassociate myself.
That's crazy. I was literally just having this conversation with somebody recently that like,
oh really,
has had your like she was also like, she needed to step away because she was like feeling too much.
Oh yeah, it's draining.
Yeah, it's
very draining.
Yeah, I'm like the opposite. No one comes to me with their problems.
You're lucky.
Who's gonna come to me? What am I gonna tell them? Go get a job that you hate.
Yeah.
No, I think like it says a lot about a person because you like you're so open about your own like life that people, you just like automatically establish this trust with other people. And
yeah,
like the last topic I wanted to talk about before we finish this off is I have found that in your videos and on like what I've seen and just talking to you now is that like you're very good at communicating and speaking and like leading people. And I know you have some like experience doing life coaching as well and motivating, and even just listening to other people's like, or like advising people, or like listening is goes hand in hand. But like how do you get to the point? Because I don't think that I'm like it's just like a what is it called?
Charismatic. Charisma, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I was just like, have you taken like classes on like speaking or something? Like, where have you developed this just natural like motivating thing about you?
I don't know.
Was like how I quit my job and like did like you just, I don't know, there's something about it. And even the videos you've made on my channel, it's like just very direct and like do it like don't waste time almost.
Well, and okay, so that comes from the do or die personality of me. Is just very much like I improv everything. Most people, you probably do this, I would think. You sit down and you write out like maybe not a script, but like an outline of what you want to talk about in a video, or you just think about it like, okay, I'm going to talk about this, and then I'll talk about this, and then this, and whatever, and then I'll end the video.
I mean, that was today's
like that. What?
I mean, that's exactly what I did for today.
Yeah, okay. I not once in my entire life, other than I made a video, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I made a video that was called I Dated a Narcissist. And that video I sort of did that with, kind of just a little bit of like an outline. But other than that, I have never in my life scripted or written down anything. I've done speeches in front of a 20 people classroom. Yeah. I've also done speeches in front of like 10,000 people. And I not once have written anything down. Everything that I say just comes from my heart. I speak what comes to my mind, and like if someone looks at me a certain way, then I'll talk about that. Like it just everything just flows right through me. So I don't know, as far as like giving advice on how to do that, I have no idea, because that's just me. That like I've always been like that. And even like, okay, so my dad died when I was 11, and they asked me like ahead of time if I wanted to do a speech at his funeral, and I was like, not really. And then when everyone had said what they wanted to say and said, does anyone else have anything that they want to say? I was like, I will. And I got up, and by the time that I was done, after like 15 minutes of standing there talking at 11 years old, everyone was crying. And they were like, that was the greatest thing I've ever heard anyone say, and whatever. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what I just said. Like, and almost every time that I turn the camera off when I'm making a video, I'm like, I didn't get a single good thing for that video. And then I go to edit it and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, girl, you're good. Like,
Yeah.
so
I mean, it definitely resonates with people. Like, people like listening to you. And like, that's what I mean.
Well, that's good to know because I didn't know that.
I mean, your videos have like tons of views.
Yeah, a lot of them are hate comments, but
I don't know about that. Yeah, I used to be much more improv. Like, I used to write down like just bullet points, like very briefly, like, or none at all. But now I'm kind of like going the opposite direction.
Yeah. I think it has a lot to do with intuition as well. If you're more in touch with your intuition, then you will know more what you want to talk about.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. What advice do you have for someone who, like, maybe they're going through something, like for you it was having a baby, or like maybe somebody doesn't like their job and they are considering, I don't know, they're looking to be financially independent, like through whatever it might be. Like, I guess mostly here is probably going to be rideshare, Lyft, or like food delivery, or like selling on eBay. What kind of advice do you have for people who like just feel stuck right now?
So one of the biggest things that I can say is you're not stuck. It doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing or anything. You could be $100,000 in debt in college and want to drop out, and you can do that. You're not stuck. And on top of that, I would say that you really have to be in a position where you can understand yourself and really think about what it is that drives you and what it is that you're passionate about, and follow that. Because if you go, I'm going to drive for Uber because I know that that's going to make me more money than me going to school to do whatever it is that you're in school for.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it for that reason, then you're not going to get anywhere. If you're only doing it for the money, you're not going to get anywhere. Like, if I was making YouTube videos for the money, I wouldn't be doing that right now because it's not paying my bills. So you have to figure out what it is that you're passionate about, because if you're passionate about, and Gary Vee says this all the time, if you're passionate about Smurfs, then
I remember
you can go and make a website about Papa Smurf, and you can sell Papa Smurf figurines for the rest of your life, and you will be successful, and you will be happy, and you will be able to take as many vacations a year as you want, and you'll have a great life. But if you are stuck in this, like, I just need to do something that's going to make me money, and I don't want to be working 9 to 5 and in school all the time, or whatever it is, and you go, I'm going to sell Smurfs because I know it's going to make me money, but you don't like the Smurfs, then you're going to be miserable either way. So you really have to figure out what you're passionate about. And a lot of people who are, we'll go back to the mental health topic. A lot of people who are dealing with depression or anxiety or anything like that, they don't know what they're passionate about because they will literally say, I'm not passionate about anything. And you have to be able to dive deeper, figure yourself out, figure out the root of everything and what it is that you truly enjoy and truly makes you happy, and follow that. Don't let anything hold you back. Just follow that. So, yeah.
How do you find what you're passionate about?
A lot of trial and error, and don't let people hold you back. If I let, okay, we'll use my family as an example. I'm Italian. I grew up eating mozzarella balls on a stick, and that was my after school snack. And now I'm like, oh, I would never touch that. If I listened to my family, I would be eating mozzarella balls on a stick all day long, and I would not be a happy vegan hippie weirdo freak YouTuber, you know? So
Yeah.
Yeah. And I constantly get flack from my family about that. But it's just, you got to follow what you're passionate about. And if you don't know what that is, you really just have to find yourself and figure out what it is. If you let go of the judgment of everyone around you, and like, if you think that you're passionate about Matchbox cars, but your mom says, why are you acting like a 9-year-old? You have to be able to shut your mom out and focus on your Matchbox cars.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Stop and smell the roses.
Yeah.
The flowers. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. But
everything's a tangent for me, so I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think also, if what were you saying about like the Smurf thing and like driving for Uber, like I think a lot of it is like you can sell the Smurf if it like leads to something else that you're like, if it allows you to do something else that you're really passionate about. Maybe you don't like, I mean, this is just me, but like maybe you don't necessarily like driving for Lyft or Uber, but like you're using it because you want to, it's allowing you to do something else, and like, like whatever that might be.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I'll use eBay as an example. Selling on eBay, I mean, you could turn eBay into this huge business. I've met people who do $30 million a year on eBay. And like, you can turn it into this huge thing. But for me, eBay was a way for me and my family to become financially independent so that I can take a second and focus on my personal brand and figure out what I want to do with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Have you ever tried shrooms? Says Mark.
I have not. Is he asking me because I'm a weird hippie? Is that why?
I've tried I eat like normal mushrooms.
Oh, I love mushrooms. I also drink mushroom coffee. Have you ever heard of that?
What?
Yeah. There's reishi, chaga, and cordyceps mushrooms, and they mix it with like an instant coffee, which instant coffee is not very good. So I don't drink it all the time. If I do, I usually pour espresso in it too. Okay. But it has like all kinds of like healing benefits and stuff.
Oh wow, I've never heard of that.
Weird vegan shit.
I maybe will try that. Can't guarantee it. Cool. Well, I think that's mostly it.
All right.
Do you have any last? I know I just like bombarded you with questions.
No, you're good. I bombarded you with answers.
Do you have any questions for me?
I don't think so. I'm not a very questiony person. I'm always the person being asked questions. Or people just tell me things and then I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely talked, but like.
Yeah. You kind of answered the questions with me.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No one's really leaving any more questions. We probably talked about everything.
All right. Yeah, I talked your ear off.
People were like, all right, that's enough, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Of course.
Everyone who's watching this, if you're watching this on the replay, just comment along. What do you think about every single question that we talked about and topic?
Yeah.
Rideshare, Uber, Lyft, selling on eBay, selling wherever you want on Facebook, whatever that might be, Craigslist. Yeah, leave it, like finding new ways to make money on your own in order to free up time in your life. I think that's like been a big theme, but also like dealing with stress, depression, these things, and taking time for yourself. I think that's like just, some things we talked about, but thank you so much, guys, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Alexis, for coming. And make sure to subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed it. I'm going to leave some links to Alexis's YouTube channel down below. Make sure to go and check her videos out. Yeah, they're not all on food or like rideshare, so they're on a bunch of different stuff, right?
There are quite a few that are, but yeah, not all of them. I need to make some more because everyone keeps asking me to. It's like everyone's interested in that. So yeah, but thank you for having me. I was very excited to, now that I like kind of know how to do this, I need to like do this more often because this is cool. Normally when I go live, I'm by myself. So
yeah, it's kind of fun, right? Like
yeah.
Yeah, we can do it on your channel as well if you want.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're gonna ask me though, but
I don't either. We'll improv it.
no script, nothing. Just
exactly.
All right. All right. I'll say bye.
I don't know how to end it, so you have to do that.
I'll end it and then we can still talk, but like the video will end.
Oh,
so.
okay, okay.
Yeah, so I'll just say bye to everyone else. And then...
Okay, bye everybody.
All right, bye.